Hello everyone and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for Once Upon a Time in Wonderland Season 1, Episode 5. We're only 5 in? Heart of Stone.
Like much more.
I know.
Yeah, it does.
I'm your host Dom. With me I have Clio.
Hello.
Omikins.
What's up?
And Rachel. How's it going, ladies?
It's going.
Fantastic.
Welcome back, Omi.
Yeah.
You've been MIA.
Yep.
That con crud will get you every time.
Yeah.
On flu.
It's okay.
You know, you're
The
supposed
crud-
to use the hand washing stations when you go to those things,
Oh
right?
my god,
I did. I used them all. And whenever I went to the bathroom, I scrubbed my hands. It's like, even under my fingernails.
It was
So-
all the hugging. It was the hugging.
But,
It was the hugging.
But the question
It
is,
was the
did Mike do that?
Probably not.
Well, there you go.
I have no idea.
There you go. That's the problem.
The last day I think I spent like maybe a quarter of the day around him. That's it. I was off on my own.
I see.
Doing
I see.
stuff. Yeah.
So, what'd you guys think of this episode?
It's good.
Yeah.
It was okay.
I'm kind of with you on that one. It wasn't the most of exciting episodes, but
No, they didn't reveal a lot.
it's
No.
all right.
They're setting it up for
They
something.
definitely are. Yeah. So,
I like that we got some Red Queen backstory.
we did.
This is true. This is true. That was good.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
We did. We definitely need some Red Queen backstory.
I'm liking her more and more with each episode.
Yeah.
She
Yeah.
reminds me in ways of Regina, how she didn't start off bad, but
Yeah.
circumstances.
So is that how every villain is born?
Well,
They
Kind
don't
of.
start off bad, but under the right circumstances, they become a villain.
I think
guess
that's
the
with
twist.
everyone.
yeah, that's how they've explained pretty much everybody so far, except for
even Jafar.
Jafar too. So,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I don't know. So, right off the start,
Tell him to quit licking the cat.
what?
He sounds like he's coughing up a fur ball.
Who?
Like,
Oh. Mike's dying back there?
Don't you snap your fingers at me. I'm recording.
So, off with his head! Off with his head! We'll get this show started eventually, right?
yeah,
Eventually there will be some Once Upon a Time in Wonderland talk on this Wonderland podcast.
Oh my god.
maybe.
What, have you even started yet?
Did I miss?
You are...
Hi, Mike.
You're just completely on the ball today, aren't you?
Does Mike know we're recording right now?
I just told him.
What?
We're recording. He's just rolling his eyes like, fuck.
Don't tell me you actually started.
Okay, this is what happened the other night.
Yeah, with you giggling, so you're not, or even.
So, let's
Anyway.
begin, guys. Right at the start of this this episode,
cut
we
it
see before Anastasia and the knave jump through the portal. They're interrupted by Anastasia's mother.
Oh, yes.
So she clearly mentioned something about Anastasia's sisters, and
What?
Yes.
anyway, whoever's yelling in the background, she clearly mentioned Anastasia's sisters. So, one of you, I think it was Clio, had surmised. You brought it up, but it was the other way around.
Yeah.
Who? Cinderella?
Me.
It was
Rachel.
okay. So Rachel, that way. Rachel said Cinderella is possibly one of her it was whatever. Anastasia was one of the stepsisters,
Stepsister.
whatever. So do you guys think that this is still the case here?
Yes.
Yes. with what the mother said, she raised her to be a princess, to be royal, to be able to marry someone beyond what her standing is now. And that's exactly what the stepmother did in Cinderella. She was just a social climber.
Yeah, but to be fair, how many other families in the Enchanted Forest did the same thing?
Yeah, but this is a
It's true, but
little...
none of them are named Anastasia.
And have sisters. And yeah, it's too much coincidence.
But weren't there only
it's
two
not
stepsisters?
Coincidence.
There's 2 stepsisters in Cinderella, so that's 3 girls.
But would the mother consider Cinderella to be her daughter?
No.
No, but she would consider them to be
So then why would she say
sister.
sisters?
There could be more than 2 sisters in this version.
Yes.
Anastasia could have more than one sister, blood sister.
There's all those twists.
But
Yeah, this is true. So, can't rule it out yet. It's definitely plausible.
Mm-mm.
The prisoner now, we've also, the one that was sitting in the cage next to, Cyrus. I always want to say Silas, because that's a character from another one of the shows we watch. Cyrus. The prisoner with Cyrus in there, says that Jafar will not kill him.
yes.
So he's fairly sure of that. So is this kind of leading more to another speculation we had that he was actually or is the Sultan?
I completely think that is very plausible because Jafar's pissed at the Sultan and he just wants revenge and he wants to torture until the day he dies of old age.
Yeah,
Jafar will even let him die of old age.
Yeah. Well, didn't he even say, like, I have something that he wants, but he can't have?
That's true.
Maybe he's looking for either his love, acceptance, or looking for the crown. You never know. I mean, technically, Jafar is in his mind, is very much stuck as a child.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think if it was the Sultan, he would have just killed him already because he could just take the crown. There's really, I don't feel there's much reason for him to keep him alive unless there's something we don't know yet.
Right, unless the Sultan may
the
have...
Sultan has some sort of information or power or something.
Genie?
Oh. No. He's got all the genies but Cyrus, so...
He has all the bottles.
He doesn't have the genies? He just has the bottles?
Who knows?
The one that he took had the genie in it because he made the guy make the last wish.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But we don't know about the second bottle.
Because isn't that supposed to be Sydney Glass?
Sydney Glass was a genie.
He was.
But we
So
don't really know how he falls into this.
Yeah, we don't. They haven't. Whether or not they cross him over or not.
We know he was a genie from Agrabah, and it was actually stated that one of the bottles or the last bottle is right there in Agrabah. So they could very well be talking about Sydney's bottle, or we could find out that Sydney, before fleeing with the Queen or whatever the case may be, gave up his powers, and there always has to be a genie, so he could have transferred the powers to Silas, for all we know. Cyrus.
Good point.
Who knows?
Yeah. So I don't know, but I still there's a gut feeling I had it from the very start that he was the Sultan. I'm going with that. That was my theory. I ran it by you guys. You were all like, yes, that makes sense. It's kind of, I think it's too predictable at this point now because they're kind of giving too many clues that he could be it. So I think they're trying to throw us off the trail now, only to tell us that he is later.
What I thought when we saw him the first time, I immediately thought to Aladdin, the movie, where Aladdin's in the dungeon with this old guy who's Jafar tricking him. So this could be a trick.
Could be, but we've already seen Jafar in the same room as both of them.
No. Not necessarily that he is Jafar, but he is a plant of Jafar's.
Could be.
I don't know. I could go either way with it. He could be the Sultan.
Yeah.
I just don't know.
So
I would think if he was the plant, he would have went with Cyrus when he left.
Or stopped him or something, yeah.
Yeah, that kind of makes me feel like he's not the plant.
I mean, he could just be magically stuck in that cage because he was planted there, and he can only go other places when Jafar says so.
If that's the case, wouldn't Jafar have used the same magic on Cyrus?
Not if he was a trick. I mean, like, if this guy is a trick that was made by Jafar, planted by Jafar, it's, you know, there's limitations to magic. So, I mean, Cyrus is his own magic. In fact, he is magic, pretty much. So, I don't think Jafar can control him because he needs his bottle and the wishes to control Cyrus's magic.
Well, if you look at Aladdin the movie, genies are far more powerful than the sorcerers. That's why in the movie, he made him make the wish to be an all-powerful genie.
Yeah. In this version, there was 4 restrictions to the classic genie rules, weren't there? The typical 3: you can't kill anybody, you can't make somebody fall in love, and you can't wish for more wishes. Wasn't there a 4th rule added to this?
I don't remember.
I could have sworn in like the first episode that they mentioned there was a 4th rule that they couldn't do.
Makes sense. With
that's what it was. That's what it was. It wasn't. Was it? Hold on. What did I just say? Wish for more wishes. Make anybody fall in love. Can't kill. That's what it is. Can't kill anybody. But it was always you couldn't bring somebody back from the dead. But this one they added you couldn't kill someone. That's what it was.
No, in the movie it was you couldn't kill anyone. I can't kill anybody.
Can't kill and bring back from the dead was kind of like one rule.
Okay. Oh, so was it you can't make more wishes? Was that the 4th rule that was added?
No, that wasn't the movie.
No, it wasn't.
Stay on the more wishes.
No, it wasn't, because there was I can't kill anybody. Right? You just said that was in there.
I can't
kill and
dead. I can't make anybody fall in love. And more wishes.
That's 4 though. There was only 3 in the movie.
But he said all those 4 things. I know all those lines, so he said those 4 things.
I think the kill and bring back are kind of one rule.
I don't know.
They kind of follow the same.
Aladdin is my favorite Disney movie. I know every line.
But there was only 3 restrictions.
Those 4 things, but he said all those lines.
Don't argue with us, mister.
I'm gonna prove you wrong as soon as this podcast is over, Cleo. I'm gonna prove you wrong.
Oh, okay.
I would love to see that.
Okay, here we go.
Oh.
Here we go.
Oh, God.
It's on. It's on. All right,
I'm playing the scene in my head. I'm not wrong.
Oh, you got a DVR in your head?
You know what?
I've seen that movie so many times.
We need to get together and put Aladdin in a VCR.
Yes.
VCR and sit down and watch it. All of us.
Yes.
So that when the scene comes up and you're wrong, Zista, we can all go and clap for Cleo.
Itty bitty living space.
Is it a sing along?
Yes.
Okay. We could totally sing along.
It's just as like I don't want a part of this anymore.
So the White Rabbit gets interrogated and captured, whatever.
It's more than interrogated.
Yeah, he gets the rabbit foot taken off. So he kind of alluded to the fact that there was somebody else that was not in Wonderland that Alice trusted. Who do you think this person was, and where is he taking Jafar?
It wasn't trusted, it was loved. Someone she cared about, and it's her father, obviously.
Her father. It's like the only other person I know of.
And he's not in Wonderland. That's where they're going. They're going. I kind of concluded it was, and then I saw the previews for next.
I didn't see the previews for next week, but I mean, the only other person that I think that she'd have some sort of connection to is Jefferson, the Mad Hatter.
That's who I instantly thought of.
Yeah. So I mean, but they already confirmed that he's not coming back. But they might like throw his story in and say Jafar just like claimed that he saw him and claimed that he did this, and then Alice is like, oh shit,
or they can't find him. One of the two.
Yeah.
If you saw the preview for the next, it's her dad.
Of course.
She goes back. Yeah, so that's where they're going.
England.
Jafar and Victorian England. That's wow. With a white rabbit.
wears a suit.
I know, right?
This whole podcast is completely gone off the rails.
Not really.
Talking about the episode.
Just in
Talking
general.
about Jafar in a suit.
Okay, yeah.
Jafar in a suit.
Just in general.
No,
So
suit.
the
I'd like to see Jafar in a suit, though.
See what happens. He just walks around and dressed in Victorian England. Yeah. Nothing wrong with that.
I'm sorry,
Nothing
Dom. What
wrong.
were you saying? I'm sorry, Dom.
the Red Queen
Yes.
and Alice team up. Were you guys kind of surprised by this?
No.
No.
It had to happen.
Did it?
Oh, yeah.
They both want. They have a mutual enemy. They have a mutual one person in common that's they want to both get rid of.
But up to this point, did we really know that the Red Queen wanted nothing to do with Jafar?
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
I did.
By the second episode, we know that he's forcing her to do a lot of stuff, and she does not like being told what to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, from a very early point, we were told she's not having this.
But they also have a common goal. So for her to throw a monkey wrench in the plan so quickly.
But they both... Well, I mean, she didn't actually throw a monkey wrench in it. All she did was get the dust for... Wow, I forgot his name.
Will?
There we go. I was going to call him Jack.
I just call him the Knave when I can't remember his name. So every time you hear me say the Knave, that's because I couldn't remember the name Will.
Will. Will Scarlet.
Scarlet.
Yoshi?
Yeah. Yoshi.
Where? Really?
Yes.
Oh.
So obviously she still cares about him. Otherwise she wouldn't have freed him from the stone.
Yeah.
Right.
There's going to be something between that. That's going to be a storyline all its own.
So she only used a little bit of dust on Will, right? I mean, she had a whole satchel full.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she has more.
Okay.
But the whole scene where she brings Alice to the edge of the cliff.
Mm-hmm.
Did you think it was a test, or did you think that the Red Queen was planning on killing her?
I knew it was a test.
No, I know. Yeah, I didn't think the Red Queen was going to kill her.
The Red Queen has ulterior motives, and she needed Alice to do something for her, so she didn't want Alice dead.
If she was going to kill her, she would have someone else do it. She doesn't like getting her hands dirty.
Well, she did say that, if I was going to kill you, I'd just push you off this cliff.
Yeah.
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 So you see Alice, she takes a few steps, and she's going good. She's going strong. Did you expect her to just plummet?
No. I
was rooting for it. I was like, fall.
I don't know, just the way they were doing the scene, I knew it was coming. Because you see close-up of her feet, you're showing the way the path is kind of like emanating out from her foot. And then it's like, it cuts to like this wide angle, and she's still like hesitant, and it just seemed like she was going to fall. And as soon as I'm like, she's gonna fall, the next step she fell. So I don't know, it just seemed kind of obvious to me, but I wasn't expecting it when she took the first step.
Yeah.
So yeah. But then we saw some flashbacks this episode. We got to see the Red Queen. We got to see her, breaking into the palace, going to a ball, having everything she's kind of ever wanted, and it's not Will that's giving it to her. And then she gets this bright idea to go back to the palace, steal the crown jewels, and then flee back home, and they'll have all this wealth and stuff that can't be tracked. But in the meantime, the king approaches her and decides to make her his queen. So my question to you guys is, in present day now, what's happened to the king?
Off with his head. The Queen of Hearts took care of him.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, someone took care of him.
Oh, yeah.
Be.
Someone had to.
Well, you just said said that she doesn't like to get her hands dirty. Anastasia does not like to get her hands dirty, so it's probably not her.
Maybe he's in the prison that Will was in.
When you said the prison, I just thought of Walking Dead, and I'm like, now we're having shows that are confusing each other.
I don't know. Well, the creators said that we're gonna see Korra this season in Wonderland.
Right.
So
It's got to be through flashbacks because she's not there anymore for present day.
Yeah.
No. Well, I think this is taken far back. I don't think this is present day.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. But I'm saying the king is not in present day, so that means Cora is not going to be there. So the only way we could see her is in a flashback.
Yes.
Depending on when this actually takes place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
Because this could take place, you know, before she came to Storybrooke.
Or more so depending on when Once Upon a Time took place, because we don't know if we're in present day Once Upon a Time that's lining up with present day Wonderland. We could be in the past in Wonderland still. We don't know.
Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking we're in the past.
The timeline shit, it just confuses me to all hell. I'd rather just not think about it.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm thinking though, since you just mentioned the time travel, the rabbit, we were kind of discussing his time travel before and his wormholes. I think all the timelines, like, they're in a set order, but they're not necessarily in the timeline in the order we think they are. They're not running concurrently with the order we're seeing. So like the Victorian era and Wonderland and Once Upon a Time and all this stuff is going on, and the rabbit is able to burrow straight line through them. He can't go to any point that he wants to in them, but I think he's able to burrow straight. So they're running parallel to each other, but just not in the timeline we're watching them in.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So,
there's got to be limitations to his power, and that would be one limitation.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'm guessing with that. So we don't know if the Once Upon a Time and the Wonderland timeline are linked yet, but we do know it's after the incident in Storybrooke. It's after the magic. We know that much. Or was it before?
Who knows?
No, because at the very first episode now of Wonderland, when they were talking, when the knave goes up into the kitchen, right? The diner. Mm-hmm. Who was out front talking?
It was Grumpy
and Cinderella.
Now, were they still Grumpy and Cinderella, or were they their other counterparts? So this is after the spell was broken, then.
But then have the knave know he's the knave.
Because he wasn't under the spell.
I'm pretty sure the rabbit probably just...
No, I'm saying after the spell was broken, they all know who they are.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But see, because Cinderella went off with the husband of her child, and she didn't work at the diner anymore.
Mm-hmm. No, but after the spell was broken, they all knew their Storybrooke counterparts. They knew who they were once the spell was broken. So if that's the case, if Grumpy and Cinderella knew who they were, the knave would know who he is as well. So that makes perfect sense.
The knave wasn't in Storybrooke when the curse was...
He was in Wonderland.
Not Enchanted Forest.
Oh, yeah, the rabbit pulled him in. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. It still makes sense. I'm just trying to figure out when in the timeline we are in Storybrooke. And we know it's at least after season 1.
Yeah.
So, we don't know if it's present day season 3, but we know it's after season 1. So, we've at least kind of narrowed it down a little bit. But,
okay, I just... because you guys are all good about, looking at things. Did anyone else notice the carriage and, like, the splash screen on Wonderland?
The carriage?
Like you get the blue and then
on the title screen.
And the trees. Yeah.
It looked like Cinderella's carriage. That's what made me think that
Anastasia's connected.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't understand.
I didn't notice that.
If that was Cinderella's carriage, that's a product of the Blue Fairy. And that carriage was actually a pumpkin. And it turned into a pumpkin. It turned into a pumpkin after midnight. So Anastasia would not have access to this pumpkin carriage.
It didn't look like a pumpkin when it was a carriage.
Right.
But I'm just saying maybe they put it in. They always put little things in there so maybe that's a connection.
But it would be a pumpkin. It wouldn't be a carriage anymore.
Not necessarily.
Maybe when that splash screen was taken, it was a carriage. It's just a picture.
But I'm saying the carriage she was riding, Anastasia and Alice were riding in.
That's what I'm talking about.
That's not. She's talking about the title screen, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But that's the same carriage.
No.
It most definitely was the same carriage from the title screen.
Well, most of the carriages look the same, but this was before they showed the carriage in the show. That's what made me think that maybe it was...
The carriage that was in the title screen was in the same episode that Alice and the Red Queen were riding in. It was the same carriage.
You didn't listen, did you? Like all men, you don't listen. I said that was showed before, so that's what made me think that it was Cinderella's sister. It was before they showed the carriage in the actual show. Do you get it now?
No, I don't understand what you're saying. So, I'm just saying that the carriage that they showed in the title screen was the same carriage in the same episode in which they showed the title screen. So it's the same carriage. That's all I'm saying. So I don't understand how you're trying to contradict me. So,
I'm not contradicting you. I'm telling you that I saw the carriage in the splash screen thing before it was shown in the actual show.
I understand that, and I'm not saying you didn't.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm not saying you didn't, but all I was saying is it's the same carriage.
I don't think it is.
Anyway, so did you guys expect Will to get turned on that quick by Anastasia?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what she was brought up to believe. That's what she was brought up to want.
She made this whole leap into the looking glass to get over there and be with Will, disobey her mother, and then at the drop of a hat, she changes her mind.
The thing is, Will, in the Enchanted Forest, he was pretty awesome. Like, and then his comparison when he was in Wonderland, he seemed kind of pathetic. So I'd be like,
because he was out of his element. He didn't want to go back to being a thief.
Yeah.
And he was trying to provide for her, but she was used to a certain type of life. And when she didn't get it, she's like, I think I'm going to go over here.
Yeah. Over there is shiny.
She expected
sparkly.
She expected to drop in Wonderland and have everything she needed. She expected
this is true.
Completely different.
What was the saying?
But then she was poor. She had no money, no food, no nothing. So.
Well, what was the saying? We all come to Wonderland wanting more than what we have.
It's kind of like what she.
That's
kind of like what she. It's like she said. She said, Wonderland. She thought it was, a way of saying wonderful. So she went there having high expectations, and when they weren't met, she just felt depressed. And Will being out of his element and, trying to make things great, just even though she didn't want that or whatever, she didn't see him making that effort, so she just saw him as pathetic. And when the king said, "Here, marry me," she was like, "Hells yeah."
Opportunity knocks, she opened the door.
So we see the Red Queen use the dust that she's recently acquired from Alice. She uses it to free Will from his stone imprisonment. Why do you think she did that?
She still cares.
She still loves him.
Yep.
Yeah.
No other reason whatsoever?
No. I mean, if Jafar found that out, like if he saw her do it or if he knew she was going to do that, he would freaking lose his marbles and he'd do everything in his power to stop. Because the knave is going to help Alice no matter what.
But isn't the knave safer in stone not causing trouble than running around causing more trouble for Jafar?
Then who's going to help Alice bring down Jafar? And that in turn will help the Red Queen.
So it's not just for love.
I think it is. I think there's always that part.
When she first did it, it was just for love. But as time passes, she's going to be like, okay, this is good for me because it's going to help me out because Jafar's going to be in the ass end of everything because of the knave. Also, the knave can't be hurt, can't be killed. Otherwise, Alice gets huspud. She gets axed. So, I mean, there's that connection there. So Jafar can't hurt the knave.
But also, was it this episode, the one before that, it was that the White Rabbit actually saw the Red Queen go to when he was in stone, and she's had that look on her face like, oh my God.
So
what the fuck?
Whose side do you think the rabbit is on?
His side?
He's on his own side? It's the best
He
side
wants
to be
to
on.
save his family.
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna do everything possible to save his family, to save himself so that he can provide for his family, you know. Yeah, you know.
I think
no side.
I think this episode clearly shows that he is on Alice's side, but he will do what he has to keep his family safe, to keep himself able to keep them safe.
So as the rabbit's kind of escaping this interrogation, he bumps into Cyrus. Yeah, I got it right that time. Yeah, I can be taught.
Awesome.
He bumps into Cyrus, and Jafar, and the rabbit goes, "You escape," and he kind of surrenders himself back over to Jafar to let Cyrus escape. Jafar mentions to the rabbit that even if you escape the tower, you wouldn't escape what's beyond. So we see Cyrus make his way to the front door. He's out of the castle, and he says that he's coming for Alice, and Alice says the same thing to him from a distant ways. But what could this be that is going to prevent him from getting to where he has to go just outside the tower?
Well, seemingly, it looks like nothing. It's just a tower high up on a frickin' pedestal somewhere.
Surrounded by a forest.
Yeah, it looks like there isn't really that much.
An evil forest.
Yeah, it's an evil forest, but it doesn't look like they're... I mean, it's
Maybe
Cyrus.
they'll bring in the Jabberwocky.
I was just going to say, the Jabberwocky. The Jabberwocky. Because Alice, they've all made it through those stupid forests like a million times over. So the forest really isn't anything. They know how to evade the dangers there. The Jabberwocky, though, seems like an evil that you can't escape. You know?
My question is, why would Jafar say that you wouldn't escape what's outside the tower to the rabbit, who could just burrow his way out and go anywhere?
I don't know. It's
Like
kind of a silly thing to say.
Yeah.
Just because he wanted to be frightening.
I mean, the rabbit was running away on foot.
Right.
This is true.
Jafar probably assumed he was going to try to run away the whole way on foot.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, his family still is in Wonderland, so to jump around in time really doesn't help him any, because they're just going to hurt his family.
Yeah. So next week. Next week? Is it next week? I don't know.
Week after? I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know if we're going to... I think we have it next week. I think
so.
I think it's Thanksgiving week that we do not have it.
Yeah, because it's on a Thursday.
Yeah. So next week we have Who's Alice? Jafar pays a visit to the asylum and Dr. Lydgate to uncover information about Alice. So right there, right off the bat, is Dr. Lydgate who the White
Alice
Rabbit
cares?
was referring to?
Hell
Or was it her father?
No, no.
Father?
Someone...
She doesn't care about the doctor?
Yeah. She doesn't care about the doctor.
He wanted to take her
I didn't say who Alice really cares about. I said who the White Rabbit says that she cared about.
Oh.
The White Rabbit could be playing games.
Yes.
I don't know. I think Jafar's a little bit more clever than that. I mean, he'd be like, he realizes that, Lydgate isn't the one she cares about, nor would she care about him because, she's pretty much her, jail guard.
Maybe. He seems like the perfect pawn that would, the White Rabbit could pawn off. Like, you get that almost Stockholm Syndrome kind of going on.
But under pain of losing your foot, I don't think he would have lied.
I don't think so.
He could leave Jafar there. He could burrow him there, tunnel back, and Jafar's stuck without his magic carpet, and he's stuck in Victorian era.
Oh, dear Lord.
And then all of our futures are fucked.
This is true. So, meanwhile, back in Wonderland, Alice heads to the Black Forest on her quest. So, I'm assuming the Black Forest has got to be the forest we saw just under the mountain.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the Knave is awakened by magic with the help of an unlikely ally, and he goes in search of Alice, only to find her in terrible danger. Well, we already know who the unlikely ally is. It was in the last episode, so I don't know why they're being so discreet about it. And Cyrus does his best to evade the Red Queen.
I think the knave didn't know it was the Red Queen, and it's kind of just like, he's like, what, how? Who did this for me?
Yeah.
She ran away before he actually fully away.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's unlikely because he doesn't know who the hell it was.
Mm-mm.
So then it says, in a flashback, Alice returns to Victorian England and her father after losing Cyrus. So we don't even know if we're going to see her father in present day. We're going to see her father sometime between Alice in Wonderland and Through the Looking Glass. So.
We'll see.
Yep. We will see.
Does that mean Alice is still there in the asylum? Because that would be kind of crazy, and Jafar could just end shit right there.
If the rabbit's wormhole works the way we were talking, no, he would not be able to visit her in the asylum. But in the flashback, she's probably still in the asylum.
Right. Okay.
Well, no, she's returning to her father, so it's probably going to be
after
just before she gets put into the asylum.
Yeah, just before.
Okay.
So, any final thoughts?
Yeah. Was anyone else surprised that it was the White Queen? The White King?
Yeah, I noticed that.
Red King?
Yeah.
That's marrying?
Yeah, that was kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I'm wondering if there is a Red King or a White Queen out there.
I don't know.
There probably is. Probably is. It makes sense.
Now, isn't the Red Queen living in the White Castle?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I said, this episode is like
Checkmate.
It's building. It's building up to some more episodes.
It's only episode 5 and it's building this much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Could you imagine?
I know, right?
What's going to happen in episode 13?
Our heads are going to explode?
Here's the thing. Do we have 13 episodes? Do we know how long this season is?
I don't know.
I don't know.
But I'm guessing it's a full season.
What I'm understanding is it's not a 22 episode season.
So I'm only like putting the halfway mark out there. I
Yeah,
mean,
so we're probably about halfway through the season right now.
Okay.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yep. They said that, I believe it was originally intended to be 10 episodes. I don't know if it was extended past that. It was originally intended to be 10, and they had a full story to tell. So I'm kind of guessing we're going to come to the conclusion of the 3 wishes. We're going to see Alice and Cyrus get reunited. And we're going to find out everything that we need to about the Red Queen and Will Scarlet. But all that's going to be concluded, and then the next season, if it gets renewed, which I pretty much guaranteeing you it is going to get renewed at this point, will be completely different story. So
hopefully they do the Red Queen story.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
I'd like to see her story.
Would be interesting. So, Cleo, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter and Tumblr and Pinterest and other social media at Cliomoto, CLIOMOTO. And you can find me on YouTube at LIOSMFVIDS. I almost fucked it up.
Omikins, where can the people find you?
They can find me on Twitter at LadyVenom24, LadyVenom24.
And Rachel, where can the people find you? Oh, nice and pretty.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, look at you.
I'm
fancy.
fancy.
I'll make myself one.
Oh. You can find me on Twitter at Phenomedom, PHENOMEDOM.
Phenomenal.
Dun, 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 dun.
Sorry, I'll stop. I'll stop that. Stop it.
And you can find us all on Twitter. Not Twitter. We don't have a Twitter yet. You can find us all on Facebook and YouTube at / ASOTV podcast for some more podcasts for some of your favorite TV shows. Till next week, it was the same carriage.
No.